There's this moment in October 1941, and seriously, the world is practically falling apart. German tanks are closing in on Moscow. I mean, the Soviet capital is being evacuated. Stalin's whole regime is just hours away from total collapse. Now, picture this. 8,000 miles away in Tokyo, there's this man with a slight limp sitting in his typewriter. He's composing what will become the single most important intelligence message of the entire Second World War. His name, Richard Sorge, and yes, he's about to save the world. The perfect cover. But wait, this is where his story gets insane. You think he's hiding in the shadows? No way. He's out there drinking schnapps with the German ambassador. He's sleeping with the wives of top Nazi officials. Get this, he has a Nazi party membership card right in his wallet and press credentials from a prestigious German paper. The Japanese secret police, they've been hunting a Soviet spy ring for years. They're intercepting coded radio messages every night. But they never realize the guy they're looking for is the charming journalist everyone adores at every embassy party. How did he pull that off? It's unbelievable. A man of two worlds. Let's quickly look at his past. Sorbe was born in 1895 in Baku, that wild, oily town on the edge of the Russian Empire. He had a German father and a Russian mother. Two worlds, two identities, right from the start. When World War I hit, young Richard joined the German army. He fought in the trenches, took 3 bullets, 3, and came home with a limp and something deep inside him completely broken. The war just shattered his faith in everything. So what did he find? Marx, Lenin, the promise of revolution. By 1919, he was a German communist. 5 years later, Moscow called. The Soviets saw something truly special in him. It wasn't just that he spoke multiple languages or had a doctorate. They saw a ghost, someone who could simply walk through walls. The impossible mission. In 1930, they sent him to China. He built a spy network in Shanghai that was so good, so seamless, that when he left 3 years later, not a single agent was compromised. His cover as a German journalist? Pristine, untouchable. Then came the impossible assignment: infiltrate Japan. Build a spy ring from absolutely nothing. Think about it, a country where foreigners were watched constantly, where citizens were encouraged to report everything, and where the Kempeitai, the secret police, had eyes everywhere. Sorge said, "I'm in." So how did he do it? First, he had to stop being a communist, at least on the surface. He joined the Nazi Party in 1933. He became the exact kind of sophisticated, cynical man the Third Reich loved. His journalism was so insightful, so sharp, that he became best friends with the German ambassador to Japan, Eugen Ott. Ott trusted him completely. He gave Sorge access to classified cables, and sometimes even asked Sorge to write his diplomatic reports. Can you imagine? But Sorge wasn't working alone. He recruited carefully. His top guy was Ozaki Hotsumi, a Japanese journalist who was literally on the Prime Minister's advisory council. Ozaki had access to Japan's biggest secrets: war plans, troop movements, everything. Another key member was Max Clausen, the radio operator who sent encrypted messages to Moscow almost nightly. The Japanese intercepted them all the time, but they couldn't crack the code or find the transmitter. For 8 long years, Sorge operated in plain sight. Then came the crisis, Operation Barbarossa in 1941, Hitler's massive invasion of the Soviet Union. Stalin had ignored every single warning. Now the Red Army was collapsing. Stalin faced a nightmare choice. He had massive forces in the east defending against a possible Japanese attack. If he pulled them to defend Moscow and Japan did attack, the Soviet Union would be instantly crushed. This is the moment Sorge earned his place in history. Through Ozaki, through Ott, through dinner parties and whispered intel, Sorge confirmed the one thing Moscow desperately needed to know. Japan wasn't going to attack the Soviet Union. They were looking south, toward the Pacific. They were looking toward Pearl Harbor. In September 1941, Sergei sent his report. This time, Stalin believed him. 5 army corps, 5, were immediately pulled from Siberia and rushed to Moscow. Fresh, experienced soldiers. They arrived just as the German advance hit the wall of the brutal winter. That December, the Red Army launched a counteroffensive. It was Hitler's first strategic defeat. Many historians believe Sergei's report was the turning point of the entire war. But the net was closing. The Japanese secret police arrested one of Sergei's agents, who cracked under interrogation. On October 18, 1941, they came for Sergei. He'd asked Moscow to recall him, but they actually refused. They needed him there. In prison, he was calm, almost relieved. Think about it, years of constant terror, living double and triple lives. He confessed everything. They didn't know what to do with him. They tried to exchange him several times for Japanese prisoners, but the Soviets refused. Publicly, they denied he even existed. Can you imagine that betrayal? On November 7, 1944, Richard Sergei was hanged in Tokyo. He stood at attention, saluted the Red Army, and died like a soldier. For 20 years, Moscow stayed silent. Then, in the 1960s, they finally admitted the truth. They named him Hero of the Soviet Union. Statues were built. Ian Fleming once called Sergei the most formidable spy in history. And he was right. Not because of gadgets or gunfights, but because Sergei understood the fundamental truth of espionage. The best cover isn't a disguise. It's becoming someone else so completely that even you start to forget who you really are. He saved Moscow, he changed the course of the war, he outwitted the Germans and the Japanese, and he did it all while drinking too much, sleeping around, and convincing everyone that he was exactly what he appeared to be: a loyal German, a brilliant journalist, a man with nothing to hide. When they asked him why he did it, he said he would have been a scholar in more peaceful times. But there were no peaceful times, only choices. And Richard Sergei chose to become a ghost, living between nations, between identities, between truth and performance. He won. He altered history itself, but the cost was absolutely everything. His life, his identity, and for 20 years after he died, even his memory. The greatest spy who ever lived, and for 20 years, no one knew his name.